When Bat for Lashes, or Natasha Khan to her mum, released her debut album Fur and Gold in 2006, it stuck out like a sore thumb. While the Lilies, Amy's and Kates were writing about their everyday existences, Natasha was creating her own magical world of myth and fairy tale. That didn't stop her picking up a Mercury nomination though, or winning celebrity fans like Tom York of Radiohead and Jarvis Cocker. With her new album Two Suns due out on April the 6th, we caught up with Natasha for a chat about her alter ego Pearl, being a control freak and writing letters to fairies. Well, what did you expect? Hello Natasha.
Hello.
Very nice to meet you.
You too.
Should we talk about Two Suns, your new record?
I think we should.
I think we should too. Have you read the press release for it?
I haven't.
Can I just read you a sentence from it?
Go on.
And then we'll talk about it. It describes the Two Suns as a record of modern day fables, exploring dualities on a number of levels. Two lovers, two planets, two sides of a personality. With Khan meditating on the philosophy of the self and duality, examining the need for both chaos and balance, for both love and pain, in addition to touching on metaphysical ideas concerning the connections between all existence. What's that all
quite
about?
big,
then?
isn't it?
How would you put it? Because I think that's probably someone going a little bit flowery. But what I mean,
Yeah.
how would you describe the record, the overarching kind of?
I think the kind of the overall theme is the reason I called it Two Suns was because I was noticing throughout making the record that it's a lot about the number two, and whether that be sort of romantic relationships or being in two different countries, because I was travelling a lot between England and New York, or two different types of music like organic and electronic. I don't know, like two planets crashing into each other and creating a third thing. I think it's sort of it's quite a sort of a personal record for me, in an intimately sort of personal subject matter, but I wanted to use metaphors and storytelling to kind of bring in those much larger concepts so that it was somehow a bit more accessible and perhaps talking about big and small things in a similar way. So usually in hindsight I'll notice a conceptual element, or I'll see there's like something that runs through the songs and kind of links them together, and then perhaps I'll start to understand how to approach it visually with doing like the album artwork or videos, or you know, like what kind of things are happening.
You mentioned the artwork and videos. You, as I understand, have quite a big, well, a complete say in what happens there. Do you think you're a bit of a control freak?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. By the
No,
way,
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, just in this element of my life I am, because it's so personal to me, and I put such a lot of myself into it and my heart on the line, that I think if I was less attached to it personally I perhaps wouldn't mind so much, but I feel like I'm creating a whole world with my work.
And you've got a tour starting on April the 7th.
Yeah.
We talked about the visual and that kind of thing, and obviously I would guess that you give some thought, or a lot of thought, to the visual aspect of your live show.
Yeah.
Is there anything sort of new coming to that we didn't see maybe last time you were on the road touring?
I think it's just the idea of making it look quite dark and magical and a bit voodoo and mystical, you know, that kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to move away from the album just a bit. What were you like as a kid? Were you always very sort of artistic and?
Yeah, I think I was always very inquisitive, and I loved music, and I loved writing and reading and painting and drawing, and always, my mum said I was always asking questions, you know, and sort of I used to spend hours playing and making up games and talking to fairies and writing minuscule little fairy notes and sort of delving into the sort of magical aspects of childhood, I think.
Doesn't surprise me.
No.
But the question is really, is your music a kind of escape from the modern world?
I don't know if it's void completely of those things. I talk about sort of, in Peace of Mind, I said I hoverboard into the sun, and I talk about like being in a car on road trips, and there's sort of a lot of references to kind of the modern world, but it's I suppose it's kind of within a context of almost like a fable or a storytelling version of the world. And so I do love the modern world, and I'm engaged in it and the music that's happening and everything. But at the same time, there is a form of escapism. I would agree that sometimes it's quite difficult for for all of us, I think, to function in the kind of concrete existence. I feel like it's perhaps a mission of mine to try and sort of bring people back to that place of listening to your intuition and dreams and imagination, and because that place is quite an archaic sort of wild place, and the wilderness and the wild in all of us, I think, is really important not to be lost.
Well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers. Nice to meet you. Thank you.